This sentence completion question contains 2 blanks. The sentence reads, "Not a single detail he provided of his blank lifestyle as a child was perceived by the adolescents as blank information. The world he portrayed felt so different of the culture of consumerism and indulgence they were familiar with, so every bit of his story was interesting." The first blank is an adjective that describes the lifestyle described by the storyteller in his story. Since at the end of the sentence we're told that the world he portrayed was different of the culture of consumerism and indulgence that the audience were familiar with, we would expect the first adjective to be a word which means the opposite of consumerist or indulgent. The second blank is an adjective which describes the information that was in the story that the storyteller told. Since the end of the sentence tells us that every bit of his story was interesting, and the first part of the sentence begins with not, meaning a negative, we therefore expect the second blank to be an adjective that means not interesting, so that the overall meaning is that all the information in the story was interesting. The word lenient means things are easily allowed. This fits with a consumerist society where people take part in pleasure very easily. But we're looking for an adjective which would have the opposite meaning of consumerist, and so we can rule out this option. The word prosperous means flourishing financially. This also fits with an indulgent and consumerist culture, where pleasures abound and people spend lots of money to enjoy themselves. So we can therefore rule out this answer. The word gripping is similar to interesting. It means that it grabs people's attention. But for the second blank, we are looking for a word with the opposite meaning of interesting, so we can rule out this option. The word erudite means showing great knowledge. This doesn't really come up in the sentence. We're not told that the audience were impressed by the storyteller's display of great knowledge, only the content of the story itself, so we can rule out this answer. This leaves us with the correct answer of austere and extraneous. This makes sense because austere means plain and simple, which is not the same as a consumerist and indulgent society. And extraneous means something which is not important or not vital, and that would therefore be less interesting. The sentence reads, "Not a single detail he provided of his austere lifestyle as a child was perceived by the adolescents as extraneous information. The world he portrayed felt so different of the culture of consumerism and indulgence they were familiar with, so every bit of his story was interesting."